Good afternoon, everyone. Had this topic on the shelf for a while, so I just thought I'd bring this one to you today. It's I thought it was the third, but I had to go back through my videos and check. But it's the second video in this little series. Transfers are already completed. Okay, so I'm just going to take a walk through 3 players today who we know where they're going to be playing next season, and transfers are already signed off and everything else. And you maybe notice a bit of a theme of the club in question. Okay, so we're going to do this slideshow style, and we'll just get stuck right into it. Okay, so this is the Porto setup. Oh, sugar. Sorry guys, technical glitch there. This is the Porto setup. I don't need to see that, thank you. And as you can see, top rated player for Porto this year is the guy we're going to be chatting about, Eder Militao. Okay, now he scored a goal last night against Liverpool, which is quite timely for the video coming out today. He's been playing right back in the Champions League. And as you probably know, he signed for Real Madrid. Porto picked this guy up in the summer from, I want to say Santos, might have been Flamengo, for like €7 million, and then already they've sold him to Real Madrid for like 58. So Porto again, the money-making machine. So if we zoom right in and we have a look at Militao, okay, so he's had 9 appearances in the Champions League and he's got a solid rating of 7.1. Tackles per game is massive. 2 goals for a centre-half in 9 games in the Champions League, which is very respectable. We then look at the league, so 24 games, 3 goals, 1 assist. Tackles per game in the league's a bit lower. It's probably because Porto don't really have that much defensive pressure in the league, so he can get away with not having to tackle as much, basically. He can be on the ball a bit more, and that's why his rating's a bit higher. And you'll notice shots and dribbles per game are significantly higher in the league than they are in the Champions League. Okie doke. So we have a look at his last couple of games. Solid performances in terms of the ratings, and you can go through whoscored.com and really drill into the last bunch of games. You can see he's scored in the league there on the 16th of March, right at the bottom. But he's playing 90 minutes every week, and he's a starter for Porto, which you would expect for somebody who they're selling for the fat end of 60 million. Look at his key characteristics. Main strength there you see is dribbling. It's really dark green, that means it's really strong. Aerial duels, passing, tackling, ball interception. Weaknesses: holds onto the ball a bit too long, and he's known for being booked, getting a couple of cards. He likes to dribble and likes to play short passes. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. It's why I really want to chat about this guy first. Okay, so he's predominantly played at centre half. Okay, and I think one or two of the articles I read about him is that it's Real Madrid's new fullback, Militao the new fullback. Okay, which he's played 10 times at right back this year, scoring 3 goals, 7.8 rating, which is nice. Okay, but he's played 23 of his games at centre half with a 7. Sorry, got a crack on my screen. At 7.3. So I really see this guy more likely to be playing centre half for Real Madrid than right back, and I'll tell you why I think that. If we look at Real Madrid's defenders here, right? In terms of centre halves, the ones that jump out is Nacho number 6, Ramos, and Vallejo. I'm not sure about this Javier Sanchez. I'm not sure about that boy number 26, Adrian. Not too sure much about them. Okay, and also Rafael Varane. Now Varane has made it known, relatively public, he wants to leave in the summer, and it looks likely he will be leaving Madrid. So he could be somebody who slots in at right back, centre back next to Ramos, rather than coming in at right back for potentially Carvajal or Odriozola. Okay. Also on top of that, this Sergio Reguilon, I think he's a full back. I don't know. I forget if he's left or right. But we've also got Ashraf Hakimi to come back from Dortmund, and we spoke about him before in a previous video. That he played, under Zidane at Real Madrid, and it was when Zidane left, he's going to get put on loan to Dortmund for the season. So I don't really see them carrying Carvajal, potentially Hakimi as well, Odriozola, who's a Spain international. I don't see them carrying those 3 right backs to then spend 50, 60 million on a Porto player to potentially play right back. So I see this guy being more of a centre half than anything else. Okay, so that's something I want you to consider when thinking about this guy. Also in modern football, being able to play in a multitude of positions is a benefit and is going to increase your value in the transfer market, not Football Index necessarily. So it might be multifunctional. They're happy to take him for centre back, but he can play right back if needed, kind of like a Pavard or something like that. The next person we come to is quite similar in that mode, and that's Lucas Hernandez. Okay, now Lucas Hernandez, this is in the Nations League, 3 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, and then his stats are all quite nice. He's moving to Bayern Munich, by the way, 65 million. If you're not familiar with that, 2 seconds, put my window up. Just nice some kids on their Easter holidays. Champions League, 5 games, tackles per game's nice and high, nothing else really worth mentioning there. And then in the league, only 13 games and 1 goal. Tackles per game again is massive. And when you see that in the league, only 13 games, you'll be thinking to yourself right away, oh, what's happened to, what's the script for this guy? Is he falling out of favour? What's going on? Okay. In the World Cup, 7 appearances, 2 assists, and again his stats in the World Cup, he was one of the standout players for France at the back. He played left back in the World Cup. And then we're drilling into it. So 16 games, just getting around that crack on my screen. 16 games at left back and 12 games at centre back. Okay, so we spoke about this with the Alaba stuff. Where's this guy going to play? I see him being left back at Bayern Munich. I don't see him being centre half as often as playing left back. Okay, but you can see for Atletico Madrid, who are the master defenders outside of Italy, he can be very confident in a very strong defence, left back and centre half. So it just means he's really likely to play a lot of matches for Munich. That fact alone, where he does play, is yet to be determined, of course. But this is going back to 2018. Okay, so you can see he was injured for a good period there, all the way through to the beginning of January. And that Bruges match, that's the last game of Champions League, so that is going to be like the second week in December or something like that. So from then, he's also been injured in that Alaves game from the looks of it, all the way through to the beginning of January. So a good solid month out injured. And then this is from the 16th of February all the way through to now. He's been out injured, okay? So that is why his price might be waning a little bit on the index. I've not actually grabbed screenshots as I say this of their sitting on the index. You can feel free to go and check that out yourself after the video. But with him not being able to get match day dividends while he's been injured and his transfers already sewn up, he could be somebody who you might be looking at for next year, who's still got a lot of potential in terms of his movement on the index to rise and to pop up. And then the last one we come to is Rodrigo Goes, okay, or Goes. Now, this is a real struggle for me to get some concrete data on this guy. On Flash Scores, you can see he's here. When you click on Santos, no, you don't see anything other than like their last couple of results. And same with WhoScored.com. He's not even in their squad list on WhoScored.com. So getting and WhoScored.com don't have any data for the Brazilian league anyway, so even if he was there, it would show you next to nothing. So getting some concrete data like shots per game and all that type of thing is very, very difficult. The only sort of relative concrete data I could get my hands on was from his Wikipedia, which I grabbed a couple of shots of. So this season, it says 37 games for Santos, 8 goals, which for somebody who's 18 or something, is decent stats. Number 11, Santos, as we know, produced Neymar. I think, did Vinicius come from Santos as well? He might have been Flamengo. I forget, sorry. But Santos, we all know who about Santos. Rubinho's came from there, and they've got a good record of producing players for over the years. His overall career statistics, 74 appearances. This is for Brazilian youth teams, Brazilian under 18s and so on, and Santos and anything else. 74 games, 16 goals, which for somebody who is, and that's as of the 12th. Today is the 18th. He scored last night, so you can add another goal onto that and another appearance at least. Okay, so for somebody of his age, that's very credible numbers. It's not quite Neymar numbers when he was there, but very, very interesting stuff. Okay, now I just had an article. See if I've still got it open. No, I don't think I do. And it was talking about how Zidane gave him when Zidane came in, he gave him a training plan to stick to so that he can integrate into the Real Madrid squad a lot quicker than Vinicius took. So you might expect to see this guy hit the ground running quite quickly in pre-season. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll show you this because I noticed this the other day. Really good thing about Flash Scores now is they've got a lot of these glamour pre-season things. Actually, on I think Real Madrid are playing Sunday, aren't they? On the fixture list for these clubs, yeah, Real Madrid are playing Sunday. So if we look at this, Real Madrid's fixtures, you can see in July their games against Bayern, Arsenal and Atletico are all booked in on this already. So you're thinking July, if he comes in and he scores and he plays well, he's going to be in the media. And that's, I think, are we getting top 5 in the month of July still? I can't remember. I need to go check that out, guys. Sorry. But again, it's just extra attention. If he hits the ground running, he's training with the squad and whatever, and then if he stands out, especially against Arsenal, just because there'll be extra British media coverage on that. And he could be a sneaky one going into next year if you buy him early enough. He could be the next Vinicius or the next Jadon Sancho potentially. Just rockets and rockets and rockets. He does well. And with Zidane giving them the training plan early enough, it's more than likely to happen. So Also in the article, it's basically saying it's going to be between him, Vinicius and Asensio for the 2 wide forward positions at Madrid next year. So 3 very young, relatively speaking, very talented and very exciting players. So Real Madrid next year could be one of the dark horses as we sit now to be very successful next year, you know, because they have kind of went under the radar because they're not in the latter stages of Europe, and their league performance has been mixed, to say the least. You know, some of these losses, I know it's Barcelona and stuff like this, but losing to Girona, losing to Valencia, drawing to Leganes, these are not Real Madrid-esque results. You know, they're relying very heavily on Benzema, and they're not really looking to be doing anything spectacular. You know, Atletico look like they're going to get second at this rate, you know. So that's the 3 guys we want to chat about in the video today. Transfers are already concluded. And they're ready to rock for next season, guys. I might drop another video later today with something a bit more exciting and a bit more current, but I just had this on the shelf and I wanted to get it out before it became, I don't know, past its sale by date, let's say. Okay, if you're new around here, guys, subscribe to the channel, like, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, bye bye.